Hello West Ham fans, great news, they've commissioned another episode of the #Hammers at Home pub quiz. I'm Chris Skull, lifelong West Ham United fan. I'm the matchday presenter at London Stadium and my hair is a little longer than it was last week, as I'm sure is the case for all of you. I'm here in my 2017-2018 West Ham away shirt because all my vintage ones are in the loft, and come episode 3 I think I'm going to have to go into that loft to get some more outfits. Okay, tonight is episode 2 of our quiz, which we hope will help you relax and remind you of what you love about our famous and great club, the best club in the world. We've got 5 West Ham themed rounds for you, so stay away from the search engines and let's delve deep into the depths of your claret and blue West Ham knowledge. Let's go! But before we get into the thick of the West Ham quiz action, let's just take a quick look at our leaderboard from last week. Some various scores here from people who sent in their final scores via social media, and some magnificent names and magnificent scores there. If you want to make it onto our leaderboard next week, do let us know how you get on this week. Tweet us, Facebook us, comment on YouTube, whatever you like, and who knows, you could see yourself on this famous leaderboard next week. Okay, round 1 is a video round that we've entitled Who Scored? I'm sure you can imagine the rules to this round. All we want you to do is tell us who scored the goals in each of the 10 clips you're about to see. So that's a single goal scorer for each of the 10 goals. Without further ado, here are those 10 magnificent moments from West Ham history. And let's have ourselves some answers from round one and give yourself a point for each one you get correct. Our first goal was scored by French midfielder Mark Keller in a Worthington Cup win over Bournemouth in October 1999. Loved Mark Keller, classic number 7. Our second clip showed winger and future manager Harry Redknapp nearly ripped the net off the post back in the 1960s. Clip number 3 is obviously a bit more recent. You may have guessed that it's Grady Diangana's first goal for West Ham against Macclesfield in September 2018. And now our fourth clip, it was of course the Sparrow, Alan Taylor, who slammed home the goal before taking a ride in the net in our FA Cup quarter-final win at Arsenal in 1975, and what a pitch he scored on as well. The next answer is Paul Ince, who was wearing a West Ham shirt in this occasion when he scored goal number 5 against Liverpool back in 1988. Clip number 6 was the legendary Jimmy Greaves scoring against his old club Tottenham at White Hart Lane in August 1970. Clip number 7 was of course Nicky Maynard scoring a daisy cutter at Barnsley in clip 7 of our promotion-winning 2011-2012 season. Number 8 is the man whose left foot free kick flew into the bottom corner for goal number 8 was of course the late 1975 FA Cup winning midfielder Graham Paddon with a fantastic strike. And number 9 was scored by our number 9 Andy Carroll at Middlesbrough in 2016. And then finally, clip number 10 showed the great Billy Bonds tucking away a penalty in a 5-2 win over Wolves in November 1974, wearing some lovely sideboards as well. Bonzo. Right, so count up your correct answers and we'll be back in a few moments for round 2. Alright, now it's time for round 2, and I should just stop to offer a little bit of feedback on last week's quiz. I understood from the DJ Damien Lazarus, who's a big West Ham fan, that it was a little too hard. My dad's friend Wayne said the same thing, so we've tried to make it a little bit easier this week, but maybe not that easy. We'll find out as we continue through the rounds. But round 2 is here, and it's an old favourite. It was there last week. It's name the player from his Wikipedia history. So we've jumped online, we've searched for 5 West Ham players. We want you to name them by looking at the list of clubs they played for as published on their Wikipedia page. Simple as that. And here's the first. Okay, so I think it would be fair to say, as a little clue, that gentleman didn't have the best of times at West Ham. But here's the second Wikipedia career history. And if you didn't get that, I don't think you're going to score many points on this West Ham quiz. All right, now here's the third. And as a little clue, that third guy, I think I know him best for modelling onesies in the Christmas catalogue. Anyway, here's the fourth. And finally, here's the fifth Wikipedia career history. Some absolute classics there, a few who are less than classic. You're going to have a few more seconds to finalise your answers, and then I'll put you all out of your misery. So the name the player from his Wikipedia history answers are as follows. Again, give yourself a point for each one you get right. Answer number 1 is, of course, Maido, and the Egyptian missed a penalty and failed to score in 9 appearances on loan from Middlesbrough in 2009. Thanks for coming, Maido. Answer number 2 is, of course, the great Sir Trevor Brooking, 1980 FA Cup final hero, 5 times Hammer of the Year, and officially one of the nicest men in football. Answer number 3 is Roland Rat himself, Razvan Rat, the experienced Romanian left-back who played occasionally during the Big Sam era in the 2013-2014 season. Very well remembered for his appearance in that Christmas catalogue wearing a onesie. Answer number 4 is our Spanish goalkeeper who is currently on loan in his homeland with Alaves. It is Roberto. And finally, answer number 5 is another Spaniard. He won it all with Real Madrid and Spain, and he was arguably past his best when he played for West Ham. It's Alvaro Arbeloa. We'll be back in a jiffy with round 3. And we're on to round 3, which is the West Ham general knowledge round. And I know, like I said earlier, some of you found it difficult this week. So, quote unquote, we've dumbed it down a bit. That's from the man who wrote these questions. So let's see how you get on. Are you ready? I'm going to give you 10 seconds between each question to write down your answer. So question 1 is, who was the first man to represent Italy while he was a West Ham United player? That's question 1 of round 3. Who was the first man to represent Italy while he was a West Ham player? Okay. Question 2 of round 3. Sticking to the same theme, who was the first Hammer to play for Ghana? That's question 2. Who was the first Hammer? Whoa. Who was the first Hammer to play for Ghana? We're in round 3, question 2, the first Hammer to play for Ghana. And question 3, for a third time, who was the first Hammer to represent Slovakia? So that's question 3. Who was the first Hammer to represent Slovakia? And we're going to stick with international football for question 4. Which country did England face at the Bowling Ground in February 2003? And I was there. I'm not sure that's going to be helpful to any of you. But I'll repeat the question. Question 4. Which country did England face at the Bowling Ground in February 2003? Question 5. Who scored on his England debut in that game in February 2003? Question 5. Who scored on his England debut at the Bowling Ground in February 2003 in that game from the previous question? And it's a biggie. Okay, question 6. One West Ham United player started for Sven-Göran Eriksson's Three Lions that night. Who was he? Number of players around that in the squad around that time from West Ham. I'll ask that question again. Question 6. One West Ham United player started for Sven-Göran Eriksson's Three Lions that night. Who was he? Question 7. Sticking with England. Three Lions legend, free kick specialist and all-round hard man Stuart Pearce celebrated his birthday last Friday. But how old was he? That's question 7. Stuart Pearce celebrated his birthday last Friday, but how old was he on that occasion? And question 8. Psycho Stuart Pearce won the Hammer of the Year award during his 2-season spell in Claret and Blue. But what was the year? That's a tough one. Psycho won the Hammer of the Year award during his 2-season spell in Claret and Blue, but in which year? And question 9. Name the 2 players who were voted Hammer of the Year either side of Stuart Pearce, and you get half a point for each. That's question 9. Name the 2 players who were voted Hammer of the Year either side of Stuart Pearce, half a point for each. And finally, question 10. When West Ham won promotion in 2012, who wore the number 10 shirt? I'm pretty sure I would get this right. That's question 10. When West Ham won promotion in 2012, who wore the number 10 shirt. Okay, that's it for the third round, West Ham general knowledge. Hang around, answers coming very soon. Okay, let's have those answers from the third round. Give yourself a point for each correct answer. And the first hammer to represent Italy while playing for West Ham was, of course, Angelo Ogbonna, not Paolo Di Canio or any other Italians who have played for West Ham. The first hammer was Angelo Ogbonna when he faced Finland in June 2016. And answer number 2, Johnny Pantsil, the star of the famous Walker's World column in the programme, was our first Ghana international in 2006. Answer number 3, our first Slovakia international was the left-back Vladimir Labant, who played for Slovakia back in 2002. Australia were the visitors to Upton Park in February 2003, and it was Francis Jeffers who scored on his debut. In fact, it was Franny's one and only England cap. Answer number 6, it was David James who started for England that night, earning one of the 17 caps he collected during his time with West Ham. And answer number 7, Stuart Pearce turned 58 on Friday. I think he looks pretty good for 58. He was voted Hammer of the Year in 2001, and therefore our Hammer of the Year in 2000 was Paolo Di Canio, and in 2002 our Hammer of the Year was Sebastian Schemmel, who now owns a bar in Luxembourg called Upton Park, where apparently the food is on a par with the West Ham Forever burger ban, allegedly. And finally, answer 10, Jack Collison was our number 10 in 2012 in that playoff final. Right, we'll be back very shortly for round 4, so top up your drinks, grab a snack, and we'll see you very soon. And here we are in round 4, and this round is a picture round that we're calling Trading Places. So we've gone through our drawers and dug out 8 trading cards from our collections. What we want to know is the name of the player, and we've skillfully edited out the players' names, and the name of the club we signed him from. So you're about to see 8 different players. We need to know the name of the player and the name of the club we signed them from. We'll give you a couple of minutes to study them. Have a chat with your family, your friends, your pets, whoever else you live or work with, and note down your answers. And how lovely was it to see those memorable faces again, some real blasts from the past. Okay, it's time for the answers. And starting top left, winger Matty Holmes was part of our squad in our debut Premier League season in 93-94, and he signed from AFC Bournemouth. Card number 2 is unpredictable Nigerian forward Victor Obinna, who alongside Avram Grant helped take us down in 2010-2011. Boo. Having joined on loan from Lokomotiv Moscow. Number 3 is David Bellion, a French striker who didn't actually do much striking in 2005-06 after joining on loan from Manchester United. Number 4 is penalty king and 1980 FA Cup winner Ray Stewart, looking resplendent with mullet in his 85-86 shirt, and he was signed from Dundee United. Card number 5 is our 1975 FA Cup winning goalkeeper Mervyn Day, who came through the academy. Number 6 is the Italian stallion himself, Simone Zaza, who is part of our squad in 2016-17, and Zaza was loaned to us from Juventus. Number 7 is 1964 FA Cup winner Peter Braybrook, who we signed from Chelsea. And last but not least, the wing wizard and non-league manager extraordinaire Alan Devonshire, who we snapped up for just £5,000 from Southall in the deal of the century. Okay, remember to give yourself a point for each player and a point for each club you got right. Well, thank you for persevering through to the final round. And this is it, round 5, the round we're calling Who Am I? We're going to give you 4 clues and you need to name the individual with West Ham connections. And it could be a player, a manager, a famous fan, or someone with even the most tenuous link to the Hammers. So you're going to give yourself 4 points if you get his or her name after the first clue, give yourself 3 points after the second clue, and 2 points after the third, and 1 if it takes you all 4 clues to work out their identity. And once you write a name down, you can't cross it out and write a different name later on. Okay, are you ready? So it's 4 points if you get it after the first clue. And the first clue is, I was born in Bristol. And he had a pretty thick Bristol accent. And I had just given away his gender. So that's all within clue 1. Clue 2, I played for just 4 clubs during my 18-year career. That's clue number 2. And you are to give yourself 3 points if you've got it after this. I played for just 4 clubs during my 18-year career. So we know he's from Bristol. We know he played for 4 clubs during an 18-year career. That's clues 1 and 2. I'll now give you clue 3, and if you get it after this, you get 2 points. So clue number 3, I scored 65 goals for West Ham United. Clue number 3, 65 goals for West Ham United. So high scoring. So we know he's from Bristol. We know he's played for 4 clubs during an 18-year career. We know he scored 65 goals. Any guesses as to who I'm talking about? Okay, should have written down your name by now because I'm about to give away clue 4, which should hopefully reveal the identity of our mystery man. Clue 4 is, I am currently assisting one of my former Hammers teammates as a coach. So this gentleman is a coach for a former West Ham teammate at another club. So born in Bristol, played for 4 clubs during an 18-year career, 65 goals for West Ham, and is now a coach for a former Hammer teammate. Okay, going to give you a couple of more seconds to write down your answer. Clue 4 should surely mean you're getting at least a point. I'll give you a few more seconds. And I will reveal in 3, 2, 1 that the answer is Julian Dix, who wore the colours of Birmingham City, West Ham United, Liverpool and Canvey Island, and is now on Slaven Bilic's coaching staff at West Bromwich Albion. And there we are. We are at the end of the quiz. So if you add up all your scores, your total is going to be out of 45. How did you get on? Did you find it easier than last week? Please do let us know. But I would suggest that if you're getting over 35, then you are absolutely cheating and you should be ashamed of yourself, or you're a genius. Anything over 30 is very good, of course, and please do reply with your name and score to see if you make it onto our leaderboard next week. Hopefully you found tonight's #HammersAtHome pub quiz a decent test of your West Ham knowledge, and you'll join us for episode 3 when we're recommissioned next week. Thank you all for taking part. I'll see you again next week. Until then, stay at home, protect the NHS and save lives. Come on, you Irons.